Hi, it's Carolyn Moore with Modern Widows Club, and we continue with caring for widows in chapter 3. So this chapter is the compassion of Boaz, and we talked about Naomi and Ruth in the last session, and this one is we're entering into the story of Boaz, the Redeemer. When she left Bethlehem, Naomi had no idea of the tragedies that would strike her one after the other in Moab. Neither did she have any inkling of the blessings that God was about to bestow upon her and upon Ruth. Naomi did not remarry, but Ruth did. In the process, they came to learn that God was the kind of God who cared for the widow and a father who understood the needs and emotions of a grieving woman. They discovered God's compassion and found refuge under the shadow of the wings of the Lord of Israel. So it goes on and it talks about Boaz being a man who mirrored God-like compassion to Ruth. He showed concern for Ruth and protected her from any abuse. As a redeemer, he took upon himself the care and protection of a childless widow. The laws of Moses provided for a redeemer, someone who was a responsible next of kin who had expected to fulfill various family duties. So Boaz took up the cause for Ruth and Naomi, and I'm telling you, if he had not done that, who knows what would have happened to these two women. How powerful of a story this is to show how good men show up for widows in their greatest time of need, how different it can turn out for them. In this case, it involved that he met Ruth, and they ended up actually falling in love. And Boaz was a man who clearly feared the Lord because he obeyed God's commandments. We could say that pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father, as described in James 1:27, the life of Boaz was governed by the Lord of the covenant and his word. As a result, Boaz demonstrated true love, faithfulness, imitating his divine Redeemer. He went beyond the demands of the letter of the law because he was a highly motivated man to understand the covenant faithfulness of the Lord and the implications that it had for him as a close relative of Naomi and now Ruth, even though she was from Moab. So, the story of Ruth abundantly illustrates the covenant faithfulness and the compassion of the Lord. Even though these exact provisions given to Israel no longer apply to us today, it does not mean that we can suspend showing compassion to widows who are in particular need. I love that part of this, and I have seen that happen in so many widows' lives, and it's always a huge blessing and so much joy it's hard to even explain. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we're moving on to chapter 4 next.